Flattery is all right as long as you don't inhale. You keep this up, I'll start inhaling. It's good to be home. It's good to be home. It's good to be back. Ladies and gentlemen, Madam Chair, as we used to say in the Senate, if you excuse a point of personal privilege, where's Delaware? Hey, Delaware, I want you to know something. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm a lifetime member of the NAACP, and there's that old expression, you go home with those that brung you to the dance. They brung me to the dance. I'm a United States Senator and a Vice President of the United States for one reason. Because I was educated. I was educated by Louis L. Redding. I was educated by Reverend Maurice Moyer. I was educated by Lynn Mitchell, Hicks Anderson. And I went through the battle with Mouse. Mouse, are you out there? Hey, Mouse, how you doing, man? All right. Mouse and I go back a long way to the days when I was a public defender. Even before that, when the days I was the only white employee in the East Side. Remember, Mouse? And by the way, Mouse got my back a bunch of times. But at any rate, it's so good to be with you all. I want to thank you all for your leadership, for your friendship, and again, be personal for your loyalty. It is not an exaggeration. Were it not for the leadership of the NAACP, for the men and women who educated me when we'd sit over in Reverend Wright's church as we were talking about desegregating the Rialto and the Queen movie theaters. Remember, Mouse, those days? I learned so much. I learned so much, and I owe so much. But ladies and gentlemen, this is, as much as I enjoy it, this is not about me. This is about another office. This is about the presidency. This is about more than any other office in the land. The presidency is about character, the character of your convictions. Whether you put country above politics. From the very moment that Barack Obama took his hand off that Bible on that cold January day in the mall, he's done just that. He has put country first. When the economy was about to go over the cliff, I watched him make some of the toughest decisions any president has had to make since Franklin Delano Roosevelt. He saved the nation's financial system. In doing so, he prevented a worldwide depression. It wasn't a popular decision, but it was an essential decision. And he was right, allowing the international financial system to function and credit to flow again. He stepped up and rescued the automobile industry. It was not popular. It was not popular. But it was critical. And he was right, saving 1 million jobs and creating 200,000 new jobs in the automobile industry. General Motors now leads the world again, and Chrysler is the fastest growing company in America. This is a man who made the call to go after Osama bin Laden. It was a bold decision. A bold decision with profound risks for our warriors as well as his presidency. But he made it, and he made that decision on his own. Bin Laden is dead, and America is more secure because of this man's decision. He passed the Affordable Care Act, a goal strived for by presidents starting with Teddy Roosevelt. It required him early on to use up almost all of his political capital. He prevailed where no president had done before. He was right. He was right. He cut $100 billion. $100 billion from the federal debt over the next 10 years, providing access to affordable health health care to 30 million Americans, 8 million black Americans who would never have had insurance. This is a man, this is a president who has the character of his convictions. And almost never, since we've taken office, during this entire time, did the Republican Congress reach across the aisle to help. On the Recovery Act, which kept us from sliding further into a depression, only 3 Republican senators and not 1 House member voted for it. On the Affordable Care Act, no Republican in the Senate and none in the House on the final vote. But it wasn't just in the big signature issues. It was on the easy, obvious things where we got no cooperation. Extending the payroll tax. Only 7 Republicans initially voted for it. Lilly Ledbetter, equal pay. 3 Republicans voted for it in the House. When we attempted to raise the debt limit to maintain the full faith and credit of the United States, not a single Republican met the responsibility of meeting that requirement, resulting in a negotiation that brought us to the brink of disaster, ultimately causing America's credit rating to be lowered for the first time
in history.
But it wasn't until later, folks, it wasn't until later that we learned that this was a plan. Obstructionist was a plan from the outset. According to a recent book by a respected author, Robert Draper, he stated in a meeting the night of inauguration, according to Draper, Republican leaders from Paul Ryan to Eric Cantor to Kevin McCarthy, they gathered. McCarthy in the book is reported to have said, if you act like you're a minority, you're going to stay a minority. We've got to challenge them on every single bill and challenge them on every single campaign. Newt Gingrich, who was also there, said, and he was prophetic, you will remember this as the day the seeds of 2012 were sown. Well, they were seeds of obstruction. Later, Mitch McConnell just said it out loud. When talking about lessons he'd learned from history, he said, quote, the single most important thing we want to achieve is for President Obama to be a one-term president. Not to get us out of this recession. Not to promote jobs. Not to do the things that need to be done. But make Barack Obama a one-term president. And folks, their discipline is amazing. They have never let up. But neither has my guy, neither has President Barack Obama. He has not given up. He continues to be driven by the character of his convictions. And folks, in the end, that's what the presidency is all about. Your character, your convictions. And one more important thing. It's about your vision for the future of America. And here the candidates for president have fundamentally different visions for the future of this country. By the way, I think Mitt Romney is a fine family man. I believe he's driven by what he believes. But the differences are so basic about how we view the future of America. Let me give you just a few examples. On education. We see education as central to the vision of how to assure America's ascendancy throughout the 21st century. We see education as the single most important criteria for minority children, for the folks with. We see education We see a future where, once again, America has the highest percentage of college graduates in the world. A future where school graduation rates at high school are not a matter of what neighborhood you come from, what background of your parents, what your economic circumstances are. A future where everyone has access to education beyond high school, because 6 out of 10 jobs in the coming decade are going to require more than a high school diploma. A future where everyone can find a decent job, where quality early education is available to our children, increasing exponentially the chances they'll succeed in school, where class sizes are small so kids can get personalized attention they need. Where we demand more of our teachers and we treat them like they are professionals. High standards and pay equal to other professions.
Who taught the other professions?
Education doesn't play a central role in the Romney Republican vision of the future of America. It's on the back burner. It's not a priority. You doubt me, just look at their budget for the future. Massive cuts in early education. The one thing all educators agree on is the central, most important initiative to deal right up front with the achievement gap. Elimination of the tuition tax credit.